Dear night, dear night, dear night. And also a little bit of saving Marleybone from Alistair. We all know how this goes at this point, so welcome to my Wizard 101 Lone Wolf playthrough. We're picking up where we left off, which involved Baxter getting stolen right in front of our eyes as I was dancing my heart out. Right, I did forget about that part. But hey, I was too busy doing more important things.
If we are to locate Baxter, we must call upon Miss Marley over in Chelsea Court. She keeps an eye on that neighborhood and knows what goes on over there.
I followed Sherlock's advice and traveled to Chelsea Court, where Miss Marley hit me with some out-of-the-world advice. Since Baxter was taken by a clock work, I should investigate the clock tower. Sherlock, you've got some competition here. I went to the clock tower, but was halted by an unstoppable force. A guy asking for a password.
Password? Curious. This may require more effort than I thought.
You guys think this is like Molly Hooper from Sherlock? Instead of Miss Molly, it's Miss Marley. Miss Marley told me to check in with a shady character known as William Pugsby, who let me know that a guy called Shakes O'Leary keeps on changing the password to the tower. What's up, Shakes?
Want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend Bruiser.
Ooh, so scary. I didn't farm all of last episode for nothing, so enjoy some Dear Night chaos. Remember how I said Shakes keeps on changing the password? Well, apparently he's not the one who knows the password. I'm not really sure how that works, but apparently this Timmy Icepick knows what I'm looking for. Here, have a dear night. Dear Night is just that edgy main character. Prove me wrong.
You find a piece of paper with today's date and a password.
I'm glad William Pugsby could help you, but I'd rather not know what you had to do to get it.
It's not that bad, they're all alive. I was able to enter the clock tower and bestowed a Dear Night upon the boss, who violently exploded. You're not supposed to talk right now. You're kind of dead already, sorry. Potbelly, the boss, was then talking to me from the grave, so I blew him up again. Thankfully, it worked the second time. Baxter! How are you feeling, bro? Baxter was saved, and my job in Chelsea Court over.
A pleasure working with you, young wizard. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's impressed. Speaking of Mr. Bones, you best run off to see him at Digmore Station, where he's coordinating with the police. Tell him I said.
This is definitely Molly Hooper from Sherlock.
I spoke to Baxter a moment ago. I could not have done better myself. What? Miss Marley said hello? Excellent. Excellent indeed.
What's exactly excellent, Sherlock? Would you care to enlighten me? Sherlock told me to meet up with him and Baxter at his house, so that's what I did. This is just the weirdest trio I've ever seen. I think this calls for a picture, guys. Baxter then let us know that a guy called Pops O'Leary attacked him for no reason when he was wandering around a place called the Ironworks. Sherlock, I'm gonna be the detective this time. I'm gonna guess you're gonna tell me to go to the Ironworks.
Excellent work. Meet me back at Digmore Station for our next step.
You did that on purpose, didn't you? He definitely did. because he then told me to investigate the ironworks.
The ironworks and discover their intention. Find Baxter at the ironworks. His inside knowledge may prove valuable.
Being the rebel I am, I then decided to not investigate the ironworks and instead go grab some death power-ups. Dworgen told me that Professor Winthrop had found some death artifacts, and I was super excited to visit a friend.
Ah, you must be one of Dworgen's students. I guess he
I am
heard
the
that
guy
you
who
found
saved
death
Krakatopia,
artifacts.
Winthrop.
It is amazing that nothing goes on here without him learning about it. I guess that is one advantage to being a
What is
wizard.
this memory loss? Safe to say, I was no longer excited to visit him.
Yes.
Anyways, Professor Winthrop didn't have the death artifacts. He only had notes. I sent the notes over to Merle, and apparently Malister was the one who found the death artifacts first. To combat Malister, we needed to find the Dark Grimoire.
Go to Nightside, near where Mortis stands. There you will be contacted by a scarecrow. He will give you the Dark Grimoire. After that is done, take it immediately to Dworgen. Go quickly!
Merle, you know some shady characters.
The Scarecrow casts a spell, and the book appears in your hands.
It was so simple to get the Dark Grimoire that I'm questioning Malister's ability at this point. Dworgen mentioned I needed to be prepared and gave me a spell from the grimoire.
Page from the Dark Grimoire and hands it to you. It immediately turns into a spell card.
So this is where I could have started my evil arc, where I thirst for power and I just use all the pages from the Dark Grimoire. Dworgen then warned me not to turn to darkness, almost as though he could hear me. I guess he was scared of what I would do at this point, so he taught me a bunch of spells: Dream Golem, Faint, and Skeletal Pirate. Fine. I'll stay away from the dark side for now. Alright, back to the main story. I met Baxter in Ironworks, who thankfully didn't complain about how long it took me to get there. The front gate was locked, so I used Deer Knight to retrieve the keys. The sucking gate was then protected by a password, so I used Deer Knight to retrieve the password. I'm using violence to solve all my problems, and it's working out pretty well.
Excellent. Now go open the gate with the combination you got from Nails. So I'm not recognized. I have to take the back way, but I'll catch up with you at the factory.
You couldn't have let me take in the back way as well? Once I was through the gate and into the Ironworks warehouse, I found out about the nefarious plan that was about to take place. Pops O'Leary was about to break some random being out of a random prison. Yeah, very intense, I think. Anyways, I continued to use violence in order to figure out the passwords to doors, and was finally face to face with Pops O'Leary himself.
All my security. No matter, no measly little wizard is going to derail my plans.
It turns out that defeating Pops didn't do any good, because apparently the plan to break the random guy out of a random prison was already taking place.
I will remain here and pit my intellect at deducing who is behind it all. But you, my young friend, must warn the yard at once. My colleague and companion Watson ventured to Scotland Yard this morning.
Let's
Hurry
go!
there and speak with him. Make haste.
I am so excited to see Watson. If you guys don't know who Watson is, you guys really need to go watch Sherlock. Or read it, whichever you prefer. Watson!
Thank goodness you've come. The O'Learys are attacking.
Not the voice I would have expected for you.
The O'Leary gang has attacked across the city. I haven't seen it like this since the war. They're up to something terrible, I fear.
The war, he's even talking about the war.
An old injury prevents me from getting back in the thick of it. but a wizard like you could make the
And
difference.
old
Speak with Officer
injury.
Ness inside
Oh,
Newgate
man.
Prison at once.
I know I shouldn't be happy about this, but the references. Watson let me know that the plan was to break out a cat named Meowiarty. And if you know anything about Moriarty from Sherlock, you know he must be bad news. Now, this is where I was supposed to give you guys like an intense chase montage, but it really didn't feel that way. Meowiarty was just constantly on the run, spewing some words about how great he was, while each of the officers just stood there and told me to catch him. Here's a little bit to show off the experience.
We can't lose him. Try to stop him before he gets away.
How about you do that? He's right there.
You've got him on the run. Follow him up this way. If he doubles back, I've got him.
You should have got him in the first place. Also, you look terrifying.
I can't believe my blooming eyes. Did you see that? He summoned undead, he did. He must have had help. Of the magical sort. The sort you can handle a sight better than we.
My, you don't give up, do you? You need to learn when you can't win. Allow me to teach you why.
Go on then. I saw him run inside the North Clock Tower. Capture him.
Marleybone's got a serious problem. It's officers.
I grow weary of this game you insist on playing. I'm out of patience, but you're out of constables. Even if you survive, you won't be able to follow me. Cheerio.
This guy's talking as if the constables actually did something to help me in the first place. Anyways, I had to fight some death enemies, and Deer Knight isn't effective against them. So, lifesteal for you, and lifesteal for you.
Are you quite certain you saw Meowiarty with Malastair? By Jove, you've uncovered the power behind the O'Leary's gang.
But you already told me it was Meowiarty.
Jocks the Scratcher is ravaging Knight's Court, terrorizing the general public. You should speak to Sergeant Steig there and offer your assistance.
And how is that finding Meowiarty? I'll do it for you, Watson. Well, let me just give you the quick rundown. Jock the Scratcher was scratching a Linda Milltop.
Help! I'm being scratched!
You look perfectly safe to me, honestly.
My heavens, that's Lady Miltos. She's in danger. You must save her. Defeat Jacques before he strikes again. I'll round up my boys for backup. Good luck.
Boy, you need to do something. So I scratched him harder, and he escaped.
It won't be so easy next time. I'm not finished with you yet.
Jacques the Scratcher staggers off and hisses.
I also scratched his minions, after which a Catherine, Dalton, and Lady Brooks reported scratching incidents.
Wizard? Get them scratchers.
Are you serious? These guys are just casually in here? Turns out that Lady Brooks was literally in the middle of being scratched in her own house, so I scratched the enemies and found a glove with the initials XX on it.
Glove with XX. Knight's Court. And a black bag. Exactly. He must be a doctor with initials XX who lives in Knight's Court.
Are you secretly Sherlock?
You again? Can't believe you found me. Doesn't matter, you'll soon be my next victim.
Jacques' identity was uncovered, so I went ahead and scratched him up. As in, steal his entire soul, of course.
You defeated Jacques the Scratcher? My, you're an accomplished detective. We could use a wizard like you on our force. We couldn't have gotten Jacques the Scratcher without you. Let Watson know how you finish off Jacques the Scratcher. He'll be waiting for you on the Scotland Yard roof.
Unlike other NPCs, Watson proved his worth to me. While I was defeating Jacques, Watson and his detectives found out that a scientist known as Dr. Katzenstein was the creator of the clockwork robots that were getting in her way. As with the rest of the bosses in this world, Dr. Katzenstein was being gatekept by major enemies, and first up was Firegut. Now, I've never shown off my pet attack before, so enjoy. Let's go, Scrappy Whiskers. And while we're at it, here's an awesome combination with all the new spells that Worgen taught me. Curse plus Feint plus Skeletal Pirate for a whopping 1,113 damage.
Now that I am defeated, I have no choice but to reveal the combination. Do with it what you must, wizard.
Is that how that works? I mean, you kind of violently exploded like a few seconds ago. Clanker was the other boss who I had to defeat.
Prepare to be broken, kid.
But it was a boring fight, and I ended up breaking him. With the gatekeepers defeated and gates opened, I made my way to Dr. Katzenstein's lair. It looks really cool.
I've got the brains and the brawn. You stand no chance.
He's kind of right. Those guys are scary. Here's the biggest hitting spell you guys have seen so far.
Please don't hurt me, mighty wizard. I can help you. Maybe? Please?
Of course, Grunk. I got you.
Me, Grunk. I watched my master build clockworks. I can do the same for you. We build a clockwork, yes? And it'll tell us where the other clockworks went.
Sounds great.
Yes, I remember now. We need clockwork parts to build a clockwork.
You're a genius, Grunk.
Parts are in crates. Find crates and bring crates to the center platform.
You got it. Honestly, you might be smarter than Dr. Katzenstein. I followed Grunk's genius plan, and it actually worked. The clockwork let us know that Meowie was in a clock tower called the Big Ben. I rushed over to Sherlock to tell him the news when I met a familiar face. Hi, Dr. Katzenstein. You're looking livelier than ever, honestly, with your lab coat and notes and all. Actually, not that familiar face, but another one. Oh no, I have to talk to this scary guy again.
Have you heard the terrible news?
The eyes, not the eyes.
Stolen the Croconomicon and locked himself in.
Of course, I couldn't just enter the clock tower. The game had to gatekeep me for my destiny. To get to the clock tower, I first needed to defeat enemies in the east and west wings, which were keeping the gate to the clock tower shut. As I was climbing the clock tower, the game threw an unwanted surprise in my face when I had to face off against 3 enemies. And I could not have been more happy to have Deer Knight. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but there's a reason this episode has Deer Knight in the title and thumbnail. One Deer Knight pretty much wipes out the whole party, and I get to steal any remaining life left. That, and some well-timed shields, are pretty much the key to success. I secured both wings and opened the gate to the clock tower, but I now faced the biggest challenge. I needed to go through 20 floors of enemies and puzzles to get to Meowie. I'm not joking, I promise. Instead of torturing you with Deer Knight's face for the next 20 battles, here's a short story about a cat and his milk. I spilled the milk.
Did I just hear someone spill some milk? Don't you do that again. Milk is too good to waste. Uh-oh, that's another one. Do that again and you'll be sorry, milk spiller. Oh, that's it. You're gonna pay for that now. Just wait till I get my paws on you, milk waster. So you think knocking over my bottles is funny? Well, I'm not one to cry over spilled milk. Let me introduce myself. Spike is me name, and crushing wizards is me game.
The end.
You
You again? I don't have time for this. You realize you're too late. With the Croconomicon, I have everything I need to finish what I have started. But I can't have you following me to Dragonspire. Meowiarty, take care of this pest once and for all.
It will be a pleasure to take care of this meddlesome wizard. Once I scratch you off our list, we'll have no one to stop us.
It was a long and arduous journey, but it was finally time to face off against Meowiarty himself. Of course this was gonna happen. Last time I lost against Lord Nightshade, and this guy looks exactly like him. Not only did I lose, but I was forced to walk the Walk of Shame by climbing all 20 floors of the tower again.
Inconceivable! How could a mere child defeat me? Ah, grow complacent, wizard. Malister will avenge me.
Are we going to let this guy escape again? We really just did that.
You've defeated Meowiarty and driven Malister from our fair city. Our thanks to you, wizard.
Indeed, our city is most grateful. I hereby dub you honorary detective. You are our city's savior. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Indeed, indeed. Fantastic work. You should publish an account of the case. If you won't, I will for you.
Do visit us again, and feel free to stop by the museum too.
So by being unsuccessful in retrieving the Croconomicon, but saving Marleybone while I was at it, my journey comes to an end for now. See you all in next episode, where everything may just come to its epic conclusion. Thanks for watching.